Good morning, everybody. This is the Hammered Airsoft Smith, bringing you a close-up video on the HFC Mauser C96 box cannon. Really, it's a Mauser model 712 Schnaufer. Sorry, my German is very rusty. I apologize. But it pretty much translates to, like, not machine pistol, but rapid fire. Machine pistol would be, machine pistol. Again, excuse my German. Anyways, before I continue to embarrass myself, which I tend to do from time to time. Yes, finally, another video on this gun. For the longest time, I couldn't get it to work properly since that disassembly video. I did mention that there's two plastic rings in that series of videos. Those broke, and since then I couldn't really get them fixed, no matter what I did. So I eventually just tied it with a leather strap. I don't think it looks bad, but hey, I'm the one using it, so, you know, no offense, but I think my opinion kind of matters more on that. Unless you want to buy it, but I'm not selling it. Yeah, this is actually pretty damn old. I think this is like 16, maybe 17 years old. It's older than Doris, my gas blowback WE M1918 pistol. It's older than that. I got this at a flea market for $180, and I originally bought a ABS Desert Eagle, and that didn't work out for me no matter what I did. So long story short, I was able to exchange it for this, and this is a gas operated non-blowback system, so there's no recoil, and it's extremely quiet, and its FPS is pretty damn high. It's like 450, so it's pretty hot, especially for a pistol. And if you put all those in conjunction, you know, how quiet, it's recoilless, and very powerful, yeah, it's quite a beast. I mean, I think the only drawback really with this pistol as far as skirmishing goes, I'm not talking about plinking right now, although I'm more of a plinker nowadays, the only drawback is that it is awkward. It uses a 20-round detachable box magazine, double stack, corset style, the weave. This magazine has been very leaky since I got it, and I just recently went to go repair it, and I put a lot of Teflon tape around the O-ring inside the magazine here, and it's got a very, very, very faint leak now. I wouldn't use it for skirmishing, again, not that I do that anymore, but at least it's good enough to do this video, is what I'm getting at. I have not named the pistol, surprisingly enough. Semi-automatic. You got adjustable rear leaf sight, non-adjustable hunk of a freaking foresight here. Adjustable hop up here with a tiny Allen key. The pistol also comes up, well, here's your safety. Your false selector switch, because the real 712s are fully automatic. This one's, again, only semi. Broom handle, hence the, you know, the name, the nickname. And it's got a slot for a stock. I have a video on how I took an M16 Airsoft full stock and I made it so it will fit on here. I did not bring that out. So yeah, the only drawback is that it's awkward. Holsters are kind of like whatever, but you gotta get, I usually get a sling. A sling is what works best, in my opinion, because those holsters can be quite expensive. Okay, enough chatter. Got these cans. Shooting very high. And we're out. It's quite leaky now, probably because of well, the magazine is probably just because I just rapid fired. um, yeah, very cool gun. This is hunky, and I definitely believe it's not pot metal whatsoever. It's very robust. Um, at some point, I actually ended up painting the barrel like a hammered gray to kind of match this, but it didn't quite work. So I recently, actually a few days ago, took all that paint off and I Birchwood Casey's aluminum black the barrel. So got kind of like a black on the barrel and then cuts off here and it's that gray, but I don't know. I think it looks good. Mauser Model 712 was chambered in 9mm. Not immediately, that was a later on kind of thing, like an afterthought. And was originally chambered, I believe, 7.63mm Mauser. I could be wrong. Another tiny drawback is this magazine, the way it's designed. It's designed because it is non-blowback. The piston works through and feeds through the rear of the mag lip here, and out through the front straight into the barrel, and or into the chamber at the barrel. Because that's open, you gotta like put your finger there and hold this down, the follower down with one hand, and just kind of feed it that way, like you saw. A little awkward. I would like to get short magazines for this. I prefer the short magazines because this is a little front heavy, as you can imagine. It's also a single action pistol. Sometimes the single action is a little weird. Ever since those two plastic pieces broke, shooting high again. See the way it knocks those cans around? There you go. I had to leave sight. It must have slid. It does slide pretty easily. Alright. So yeah, the magazine is a little awkward. But, whatevs. Very cool gun. I mean, surprisingly enough, like, there's a couple styles of airsoft guns out there that I kind of stray away from because I just don't really have any real passion or motive for that style. Like AEGs, I'm not a big fan of at all, really. I own one. I've owned a few, and I never really got into them. The thing with airsoft with me is because, like, I like to train. It's a simulation for the transition between between the airsoft arm and then the real steel firearm. And if there's no felt recoil and I can't really field trip it the way that it should, or pretty close to it at least, and if it doesn't really function like the real steel one for the most part, then I kind of stray away. But this to me, like, this is an exception because even though it's recoilless, it doesn't field trip at all like the real one, and or any of that. It's still very satisfying to shoot. Like non-blowback, gas-operated airsoft arms I stay away from as well, next to AEGs. Unless, it's like a revolver. I mean, that's a little bit different there. Nice and oily. It's nice. Always liked this gun. It's just the leaky mag was what really made me step back for a while. But I do plan on... I think I'm going to put more Teflon tape around that O-ring in there, because I did have to replace the O-ring at one point. Oh, that's right. I got to freaking be an octopus for a minute. I think I have 18 in there. It was getting kind of slippery. But, yeah, I wanted to get extra magazines. At least one more. Get this one to stop leaking, and I'll be pretty satisfied with that. 220 round magazines. But I don't think I'll go too crazy because, again, this isn't super realistic. So I really don't want to go all out on customization or paying out for it. If I were going to do something with a C96 Model 712 style pistol, it would probably be with like the gas blowback variants out there, and I would definitely stick to the short magazines. I was kind of thinking about putting a red 6 on the grip. Even though that's more of a C96 thing, the red 9. And those red 9s were painted on the 9mm versions of the gun to allow soldiers or whoever who can't, who was using those guns to know to use 9mm in it, as opposed to the standard or the original calibers that it was chambered in. But I was thinking about a 6 because this is a 6mm airsoft gun. So obviously, I mean, I don't know. I'm a bit of a wise ass sometimes, but or all the time actually. Got a few more rounds in there. It's getting weak on gas. Either that, well, slight cooldown. I don't know if I mentioned, but you don't really suffer from a lot of cooldown with a non-blowback. I mean, there are a lot of pros about using a non-blowback airsoft gun. Like maintenance. Maintenance is like a walk in a freaking park. Drop of oil here, drop of oil there, and whatever else moving parts you can get to without having to actually disassemble the gun. Saves on so much gas because there's nothing to work back and forth other than a little piston head inside. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. That silver piece. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to see that, dude. But there is a silverish piece in there. You can kind of see the lighting on it. Well, I can. That's the piston head. Hopefully you can see it's back. And then when you fire, it goes back and forth. This is actually, I don't like doing this with the magazine out of it, so. This is the false firing pin, this piece here. That doesn't actually really do anything, it just retains. The actual firing pin for the airsoft version is down here. That little nub. And that pushes up against the magazine valve, releases the gas, and then this piston head kind of works back and forth. You'll see it when you cock the hammer. It'll go in a little high. Look, 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 look. Going. Okay. Enough weirdness. Like if this, like using a leaky mag for a gas blowback pistol or anything gas blowback is just like a fucking nightmare. But when you're using a non-blowback, you can actually get away with it to some extent because it's not consuming as much gas. Oop, and that's why you gotta put your finger there, dude. Wow. I actually got away with it. It's not super hard, you just have to have it on a slight tilt. Mag dump? Mag dump? What if I do that? Yeah, mag dump. See how... It didn't fire all the rounds because I actually ran out of gas. I'll fire the rest out. One of the BBs actually hit the can so hard it ricocheted and actually went right past my head. It's a good thing I'm wearing eyeglasses. I hardly ever wear them. But anyways. So, I don't know, man. I'm debating. Should I... I think I should. I think I should. I'm actually having a lot of fun with this. Safety's a little floppy, like I mentioned earlier, or at least I think I mentioned earlier. And on a blowback variant, or the real steel, as opposed to a slide on, say, oh, it's a good thing I brought this out, a 1911, you have a bolt charging handle, hence the ribs. And when you pull this back, this breech would open. And the C96s, they would load from the top of a stripper clip. I wouldn't be surprised if the very early 712s were designed the same way, just in full auto. And then later on, they probably changed that. It would be nice if this could open up. So instead of having to take the magazine out, I can just load from the top, and this would kind of portray, in a sense, a stripper clip. Not really, but kind of, sort of. She's very moist. And it's got a magazine safe, or safety, where if you have the hammer cocked and the magazine is in there, you cannot remove it. It is locked in there. And I think that's when you cock the hammer, that piston head drives into the top of the magazine lip. You can actually decock the gun. I believe without dispersing gas. Yes, you can, because we just saw it there. Alright. Yeah, this is fucking sweet. I like this gun. It's pretty awesome. And the more I fire it, it's kind of like ironic in a way. The more I fire it, the more I handle it, the more I'm like, man, I really could go for a blowback variant of this. I don't know. It's not on my wish list or my dream list. For those of you who give a shit. My dream list. Yeah, my dream list consists of I want the Cyma model 870. Oh my god. That is literally a dream come true. Another dream come true is the I forgot what brand it was, holy shit. But they make it's a spring operated, so is the 870. It's a spring operated Springfield 1903 bolt action, full metal and wood. Lord have mercy. My god. What else? Some sort of M1, M14 Garand semi-automatic, older style gas blowback carbine rifle, whatever. Yeah, the M14, the M1, the M1 Garand. Yes, those are what I say. And then there's the M1A1 Thompson submachine gun gas blowback. Ugh, that one's all fucking metal and wood. Oh my god, it is expensive. So is the M1 Garand. Oh Jesus Christ, it's a little depressing thinking about how expensive these things are. I remember way back when the M1 Garands first came out, gas operated. They were like $800. And they were 8mm only. That was cool. I cut that can in half, I think. And we're out of gas. I think the magazine is getting cold. We'll top this mag off. Oh, only, well, it was 6, now it's only 5 rounds. Man, what a tease. Lugers are interesting. Thought about Lugers from time to time. And we're out, none in the spout. Oh. She sure is pretty. Fucking oily as hell. Alright. Well. Oh yeah, and I think, if I remember correctly, again, I could be wrong, I don't claim to know everything. That is just absurd. Nobody knows everything. I don't care who you are. People who say that, I guess, just don't want to learn anything. But, any Hoosers, before I digress, I think the M712 was their answer to the Spanish C96 Select Fire lookalikes. The Mauser C96 and Miles 712 were actually very influential, like the 1911 in some ways, where there was many variants, many copied it. There was like a Bolo one, pre-Bolo, whatever. There's like one with an extremely long barrel, no stock. Then there's the trench ones, or I think there was a trench carbine where it had an extremely long carbine length barrel with a wooden fore-end that goes along here and has a stock that is actually part of the gun. It does not come off, to my knowledge. Well, I'm sure it can come off, but it's actually designed to be on the gun at all times. So, yeah, highly influential. And even though this is more of a modern or contemporary 1911, the range officer, they do look pretty nice next to each other. So, the other odd thing I want to add is that although this is a false selector switch, when you disassemble the gun, I think I mentioned this in the disassembly and assembly series of videos, you can actually move this. There's two notches. You can actually move this so it's set to either N or R. Right now it's set on R. I just gave up on you. It was always like that. I don't know why. Maybe I don't know everything about these guns. Maybe the real steel is the same way. I highly doubt that, but well, yeah, wasn't. Yeah, there's two notches. You can actually sit that in either one, and then fasten the screw on the other side of the receiver, the lower receiver here. But it doesn't do anything. That would be interesting. That would be really interesting, actually. But I've confirmed that myself, as I just said. It doesn't do anything. But it wouldn't be the first time if you could do that. It would not be the first time, as I say, I give up. That's OCD for you. That, like, for example, the KWA M93R was typically a semi-automatic in 3-round burst. But if you put the switch in between the 1 dot, which is semi, and the 3 dot, which is 3-round burst, it could actually be in full auto. It was like a secret when it first came out, or at least it seemed that way. On my end, I could have been late on it. When am I ever not late on things like that? But I think that's it. I think that's all I want to say. So I guess with this being said, spoiler alert, and I guess a little bit of a teaser, like I went to go fix that again. You can expect to see more of this gun. Maybe a full-length shooting video out in the plinking site, the range. But that will probably happen after I get another magazine for it, and I'm not exactly sure when that's going to happen. Hopefully soon. Hopefully I'll have a hell of a lot more content to bring up, and I still got other things lined up. Just find the time or whatever. Alright, everybody. Thanks a lot for watching, and stay tuned for whatever else I'm going to dig out of my bag of tricks. And high power. Peace.